Story 1. I won a lifetime supply of mini chocolate milk cartons during Milk Day at school in 2007. If you opened a carton and it mooed at you, you had to call the number on it and report the mooing milk. I am still receiving shipments. My fiancé drinks them because I have grown to hate milk. I laugh out loud. Story 2. When a new tropical smoothie cafe opened in our neighborhood, they ran a promotion offering one free smoothie per week for a year to the first 50 people in line on opening day. My husband made me stand in line for 3 hours before they opened. We were 24th and 25th in line, so we each received 52 free smoothies. Story 3. When I was a child, my family moved to a new city. On our first or second night there, we decided to try a nearby Chinese restaurant. We did not realize it was the restaurant's grand opening, and there were very few customers. The owner waited on our table himself and was kind and friendly. He had just immigrated from China. He gave my family a voucher for free meals for life because we were among the few people who showed up that night. I remember it was a big golden ticket like Willy Wonka. The restaurant closed within a year. I always wonder how he is doing. My family was poor then, and we went there every month, which felt special. It may not have been the greatest Chinese food in the world, but I still remember how the orange chicken tasted. Story 4. Not me, but a couple of years ago my friend won Cedar Point's Halloween costume contest and received a lifetime pass. It's a special gold-colored pass and comes with a bunch of other perks. I'm very jealous. Story 5. 18 years ago we won a lifetime of veterinary visits for my cat. They expected to award it to someone with an older pet, not a new kitten, but the cat is still alive. The veterinary clinic has moved and rebranded 4 or 5 times, but it is still honoring the award. It covered a lifetime of routine checkups. We still had to cover treatments and surgeries. Story 6. I won 2 tickets to every event at a theater near me for a whole year. I saw about 15 concerts and 20 comedy shows that year. I was always offering tickets to my friends, and I used them to impress my current girlfriend by taking her out frequently. That was a fun year. Story 7. I ran a small web forum for about 10 years. Our small web host ran a promotion where we could pay about 2.5 times the usual yearly fee to join an exclusive founders club and receive lifetime free hosting, only paying the domain renewal each year. The owner was a good guy and I knew he was operating on razor-thin margins, so I signed up more to do him a favor than to get the benefits. I figured that in a couple of years he would conveniently forget about the Founders Club and I would go back to paying the usual fees. It never happened. After a couple of years, the arrangement paid for itself. A few years later, the owner passed away. He was young and had lost his battle with cancer. The whole operation shut down. I was far more upset to lose him than to lose the deal. I would happily pay the yearly hosting fee to have him back. In the end, it was truthful advertising. He never specified whose lifetime. The oddest part is that he had a couple hundred clients, and although he opened the Founders Club to the first 10 respondents, he never filled it. I think it capped out at about 7. I do not know if his other clients thought it was too good to be true. Story 8. My mom almost ate the white M&M that was promoted about 25 years ago. If you found one, you could send it in and receive a lifetime supply of M&Ms. They sent us a voucher pack that almost no store would accept, but we still exhausted the lifetime supply in about 1 month, since there were 8 siblings. Probably for the best, though. Story 9. My dad won a lifetime supply of cat food, but they delivered it all at once and our cats did not like that flavor. We donated it to a local animal shelter, and the staff were very pleased. Story 10. I did not really win. It was only a year's supply of Hot Pockets. When I was 17, I bit into one that had no filling and sent an email pretending to be my mother to complain. To my surprise, they replied and sent a golden coupon good for a year. I ate so many Hot Pockets that I now hate them and have not had one since. Story 11. I once waited at a McDonald's for the grand opening. The first 100 people received free fries for a year. I was number 3. It was a box of 365 coupons for a free medium fry. I think they gave away about 200 of them. It was about 13 or 14 years ago. Story 12. I once had a job where I purchased Subway sandwiches for mobile work crews and kept the tickets when you could fill the card for free sandwiches. All the tickets were numbered and the purchases were valid. After 2 years, I had enough tickets and receipts to redeem multiple sandwiches daily for at least 6 months if I wanted, and I kept accruing more. I started filling the cards and giving them to friends so they could have a free lunch. Within 1 month, my friends and I were banned from every subway in a 5-mile radius of Los Angeles. They put our pictures on the wall and refused to honor the stamps, no matter who brought them in. Within another 2 years, Subway corporate canceled the stamps altogether and no one would accept them. I could not even give them away to a food bank or to homeless people for a free sandwich. Thanks, Subway. Story 13. Not a lifetime supply, but I won a year's supply of Chipotle entrees once. It came as a stack of 52 free burrito cards with a gilded farmer embossed on one side and a unique code on the other. At the time, they did not limit what I put on these freebies or when I used them, so I gave many away to friends, family, and the occasional homeless person and told everyone to add guacamole and double meat and make the most of it. I kept one as a memento, which I still think I should frame. Story 14. My mother bought a Toyota Yaris years ago, and the dealership was running a tires for life promotion. She receives free tires whenever she needs them, but she must have all maintenance work done at the dealership, and the deal will not transfer if she sells the title. The dealership did not run the promotion for long, and she was told recently that she is the only participant left. Story 15. This was not a win but a glitch that gave my mother free parking at meters for about 12 years. Where I live in a large city, there is no free parking anywhere unless it is a store-owned lot. Back in the early 2000s, they began adding a card reader to the old-fashioned coin parking meters. To use them, you purchased a card from the city and loaded funds onto it. The benefit was that you could add more time to the meter than you thought you needed. When you returned to your car, if time remained, you could insert the card and the unused time would be returned to the card. The meters had a small screen that displayed the card balance when you inserted it. One day my mother had extra time on her meter and inserted the card to recover the remaining balance. The next time she parked and inserted the card, it showed a $45,000 balance. The machine had glitched the last time it returned unused time to her card and had recorded that huge balance. It took her a while to believe it would keep working. 6 months later, when her actual balance would certainly have been spent, the card still showed the large balance, and the meter continued to deduct the correct parking charges from it. For about the next 12 years, the city kept that system in place. They added pay kiosks during that time but kept the individual meters with card readers until they eventually removed all the meters. Now payments are handled through a payment application. While the meters remained in service, my mother lent the card to friends and family when they needed to park. Each time she parked, she typically added 8 hours of credit. When she left, if she saw someone preparing to park, she would tell them to move into her spot because it still had time remaining. Story 16. My wife won $10,000 on Roll Up the Rim with Tim Hortons. She was very excited and spoke on the phone with Tim Hortons, who said everything sounded good and that she would receive an email confirmation soon. Instead, we received an email saying there had been a technical issue and they would not honor her win. Needless to say, we now have a lifetime supply of hate for them. Story 17. I know someone who won a free Gas for Life contest many years ago. They receive a gift card worth $100 each month. Story 18. I won a lifetime supply of printer paper from a Canadian retailer in an internet contest when I purchased a Konica Minolta. I quickly realized I did not need that much paper. They were sending 2 reams a month. I moved and never updated my shipping address, so someone out there is getting free paper. Story 19. I had a friend in college who won a lifetime supply of Gillette razors. They sent him a crate of Mach 3 razors and replacement cartridges. It was a one-time shipment, and it would be hard to use that many razors in one lifetime. Story 20. I won free full-body massages for life, which amounted to 2 massages per week. I loved it and became addicted. I knew everyone who worked there and got to try different therapists to find the best ones. Toward the end, I rotated among 3 staff members. They even used me to train new staff for free. Those sessions did not count toward my 2 free massages per week. When the place closed down, I realized how expensive massages were. I have not had one in ages, and I missed them so much. Story 21. One free movie rental from Blockbuster every week. Story 22. Not a lifetime supply, but my aunt won a 60-second haul at our local grocery store. Grab as much as you can in 60 seconds and it is yours. There were rules and limitations. No meat, dairy, or fresh goods. She used her arm and literally swept an entire aisle of coffee. She must have had a plan. Coffee, dog food, paper towels, and toilet paper. Given the restrictions, that was a smart plan. Nobody in my family had to buy coffee for at least a year. We all survive on coffee. Story 23. I won the Cash for Life $1,000 a week lottery about 10 years ago. Every year I send them proof that I am still alive, and they mail me a check for $52,000. Story 24. My parents won a lifetime supply of toiletries, soap, toilet tissue, and other items. Once each quarter you mail in a coupon and they send another quarter's worth. It's all institutional grade, like what you would expect prisoners to use. Story 25. When I was a kid, I won a year's worth of Tombstone pizza from a Coca-Cola bottle cap promotion. They sent 52 coupons to use at the grocery store for a free pizza. Story 26. I bought, not one, a lifetime membership to Pure Virtual Private Network. After just 5 years, they reneged and said I had only purchased 5 years. I showed them the receipt and was told they no longer honor it. Thankfully, I bought it through Stack Social, and when I reported the issue, they provided a different lifetime virtual private network provider instead. I refused to pay monthly for a service I barely use. Story 27. My uncle gets free Ben and Jerry's for life. He has been friends with the actual Ben and Jerry since before they opened the first shop. He has a card that says free ice cream for life and can get pints or cones at any scoop shop, at least locally. He also gets stacks of free pint coupons he can use at grocery stores and gas stations. When Unilever bought them, they tried to buy back all the free ice cream for life cards. It must have been a fairly generous offer, because my uncle was one of the few who chose to keep his card. Story 28. When I bought my bicycle, the shop's policy was that any new bike purchase included free tune-ups for life. I thought this was a great business move because it brought me back to the store regularly, kept my bike running smoothly, and kept me an active cyclist and customer. I also bought parts and service beyond the tune-ups when I was there, because I had a good relationship with the shop through the free tune-up deal. When the shop changed ownership, they discontinued the tune-ups, even for customers who had purchased their bikes under those terms. I no longer go there. Story 29. This happened in the late 1990s. A local bar ran a wet t-shirt contest where the woman who won would receive a lifetime of free drinks at the bar. They also offered cash prizes for second and third place. I do not remember how much, but it was a lot at the time. The result was a packed bar. Many women entered and many men spent money. My friend had a girlfriend at the time who is now his wife. She won first place. They were thrilled. Within a couple of weeks, the building was condemned and torn down. It turned out the owners knew the building would be condemned and just wanted to have one last party. Story 30. I won a year's worth of coffee at Dunkin' Donuts. They gave me a coupon book with 4 coupons per month for a year. Story 31. We did not win a lifetime supply, but we won a year's supply of non-perishable food. Every month we received 2 or 3 massive boxes filled with various non-perishable items. It lasted about 9 months before something changed behind the scenes at the company. A few months after the year ended, they contacted us and said we still had 3 months credit, so we told them to surprise us. This happened years ago, and we still have some left. Story 32. When I was a kid 30 years ago, my dad said he had 1 free pizza coupons, I think from Domino's, and he had a massive stack of business cards, each for a free large pizza. My dad said we had to be careful using them, so we only used them occasionally. I remember my dad sometimes making me order the pizza and answer the door to get the free pizza, even though I was only 9. Looking back, my dad worked for a commercial printing company and was not exactly an upstanding citizen. I am pretty sure he did not win those cards. Story 33. I won a lifetime supply of AA and AAA batteries from a major Canadian tech retailer about 20 years ago. Batteries last a long time and I don't use them for much, so it's not worth starting a black market. Even picking them up is a chore. I have to enter my name in their system. A note shows I get free batteries because I won a contest 20 years ago. Staff call a manager to verify because it looks suspicious. The manager asks questions before they finally give me the batteries. Story 34. Back in 1977, when I was 13, I won a contest for a lifetime supply of models from Revell. A semi-truck pulled up to our house in a quiet suburban neighborhood and unloaded 4 pallets of plastic models in the driveway. There were hundreds of models, probably one of every item they offered in their catalog at the time. I kept about 2 dozen, which kept me busy for a year or so. My father found a local hobby store that bought the rest at a favorable price so we could get rid of them. He put the money into United States savings bonds for me. I cashed them out many years later to use as a down payment on my first new car. Story 35. I won a year's supply of Pepperidge Farm Milanos when I was in college. My boyfriend and I ate them all in about 3 glorious months. Story 36. I once won a year's supply of Pepsi from a local radio station. The contest involved finding specific serial numbers on a dollar bill and being the first to call the station. The prize turned out to be a single case. Story 37. My mum won a lifetime supply of surf washing powder. We received 72 8-kilogram boxes on a pallet from a raffle competition. We sold 60 boxes for about £10 each to corner shops and split the rest with some family because she did not have enough room and did not even remember entering the competition. There were also several washing liquids and other items from the rest of their range, one of each type. Story 38. I won a lifetime of free oil changes for my car. It was during a dealership sale where you had to take a photo with your pet and the person who most resembled their pet won. I do not know whether I should feel happy or concerned. What they did not mention was that the lifetime oil changes applied only to the vehicle I had and could not be transferred to anyone else. When my dad took over the car loan, they told us that detail, so it only covered about 2 oil changes. Story 39. My parents won twice in a relatively short period of time. The first was at a fair when I was in high school. They advertised it as a lifetime supply of ice cream sandwiches and ended up giving us 100 boxes all at once on a warm July day. My mom was only able to collect them at the end of the day, so there were not many people left to hand them out to. We got home and had about 60 boxes left after giving away as many as possible and throwing out what would not fit in our freezer. I played a lot of sports, so I ate a lot. My parents told me I could eat as much as I wanted, whenever I wanted. I went through 60 boxes in a couple of months. It was a good time, but not great for my weight. The second time was about a year later, when they bought an expensive microwave and won a 5-year supply of microwave popcorn. Basically, the same thing happened. We received a huge box with about 200 packages, and I was told to eat as much as I wanted. After living in a house that smelled like popcorn for a few weeks, my parents threw the rest away. Story 40. I won a year's worth of movies from 7-Eleven when they ran a McDonald's Monopoly-style contest in the early 2010s. They sent me $1,300 in Cineplex gift cards when tickets were $13 each, so a couple could go once a week. With loyalty cards and club memberships, I stretched those gift cards over 3 years. To be fair, there are not 50 movies a year I want to see in a theater. Story 41. I won a year of free pizza. That meant 12 pizzas, 1 per month. I was grateful because it was a blessing when we had money problems. Story 42. I won free Arby's for a year. They sent me $420 in gift cards. Story 43. A lifetime supply of M&M candies. They sent 52 bags all at once. Story 44. When I was a kid, I won an online contest that included what they called a lifetime supply of Hubba Bubba bubble tape. I do not remember the exact amount, but I think it was about a dozen boxes of gum. They also sent me a small boombox and a hockey jersey with the Hubba Bubba logo on it. I got sick of it quickly, and it had a shelf life. A friend and I ended up using it all for a school project where we had to make a model of the town from the book The Outsiders. We made the entire model out of gum, and it was disgusting. Our jaws got sore from chewing all the gum, so we ended up dipping it in water instead. Our teacher docked us points for a lack of creativity. 20 years later, I am still mad about that. I was not expecting this to get so many responses. I should clarify that we lost points because it was not creative enough. Reading these responses really validates my anger. Stay golden, everyone. Story 45. I took my children to a pizza buffet after they received a coupon for a free children's meal for good grades. The cashier mistakenly charged us. When the manager came to correct the transaction, I said he could return the coupon. He gave us a stack of about 50 unused coupons attached like a checkbook. We received free children's meals until they reached the age limit. Story 46. I won a year of free meals at Kula, a fast casual Indian restaurant. They give a coupon book with 52 free meal cards to the first 100 customers at each location. I saw the line was short on the way to work and called everyone in the office to join me. We held all our business meetings at Kula for a year. The company paid for meals when people ran out of coupons, did not have them, or when we hired new employees. The food was perfect. Whether you were vegan, paleo, gluten-free, or any combination, there was something on the menu for you. We still use Kula for company catering because everyone likes the options. Story 47. My stepfather won a lifetime supply of water displacement 40, a multipurpose lubricant, in the 1990s. They sent him 4 16-ounce cans. He died in 2019. My mother still has 2 cans. Story 48. My partner won a year's worth of Vans shoes. They sent him 4 vouchers for 99% off. Story 49. I won free groceries for life at my local grocery store in a raffle. They give me a digital $100 gift card once a month. That is wonderful, but it does not even cover a week of groceries. The benefit will end when the total given reaches $10,000. I have about $4,000 left. Story 50. As a consolation prize for losing on a television game show, I was given a popcorn popper, a little girl's bicycle, and a lifetime supply of Dinty Moore beef stew. I gave the popcorn popper as a Christmas present and sold the bicycle. When the beef stew arrived, it was 1 case of 12 cans. After trying the first can, I realized that the other 11 would indeed last me a lifetime. Story 51. Ryanair, a European budget airline, awarded its millionth passenger free flights for life. After 9 years, they reneged on the deal, so she took them to court. The judge awarded her €60,000 to buy her own flights. Her legal costs were more than 3 times that amount, but Ryanair had to pay those as well. Given the relatively low cost of Ryanair flights, €60,000 probably buys her at least 6 flights a year for the next 50 years. Story 52. I won a lifetime supply of Cheerwine, a local cherry soda, from a kids' television channel when I was 11. They brought 2 pallets of soda and unloaded them in my parents' garage, and we still had some left when we were moving out. Story 53. I won a lifetime supply of donuts, up to 12 per day, at a local bakery, and it lasted 2 years until the original owner died and his asshole son took over the business. Story 54. My hometown has a minor league baseball team. When I was 7, I won a year's supply of Pepsi by beating the mascot scout in a race at the ballpark. I didn't realize the prize was Pepsi until I won. I just wanted to meet the mascot, and I hated soda as a kid. When Scout handed me my first 6-pack of Pepsi, I said it would last the whole year because I would not drink it, and my parents forfeited the prize to the second-place kid. The park gave me a t-shirt and a baseball photo frame for the picture I took with the mascot, so I think I came out on top. Story 55. I received lifetime free oil changes when I bought my car. When the dealership was sold, the new owners did not honor that. Story 56. Not exactly for life, but I once won a €5,000 voucher for 1 year at a pizza place. It lasted the entire year, and I spent the final €75 on the very last day. Story 57. Not a lifetime, but I once won a year's supply of beer. It turned out to be 12 cases. I thought that was fair. Story 58. I did not win per se, but a new employee at a chain coffee shop gave me 3 million reward points instead of the 300 points I was supposed to receive for buying $300 worth of gift cards as Christmas gifts for the mail carrier, Amazon drivers, and others. I asked the employee to fix it, but he told me not to worry about it. I am still getting free drinks and pastries as often as I want, and I have not even dented that balance. Story 59. My mother won a drawing for Scott Paper Products. It was in the 1970s, so I can't remember whether it was a year's supply or a lifetime supply. We received 2 giant flats of tissues, paper towels, toilet paper, and perhaps some other items. They lasted a very long time. It was funny to go down to the basement to get a box of tissues from a virtual mountain of boxes. She was very lucky and used to win things all the time. She often won door prizes and party favors. Whatever she entered, she was much more likely than you would expect to win. It is too bad she never bought lottery tickets because she considered gambling sinful, laughing out loud. Story 60. I received a free multi-room digital video recorder and home box office for life from my cable company. I did not realize that any small change, including replacing an 8-year-old broken router, would remove these services from my account and make it impossible to add them back. I am very dissatisfied with Time Warner and their poor business practices. Story 61. Not me, but my grandfather won a lifetime supply of Altoids back in the early 2000s. They sent him a box with about 200 tins, and that was it. I remember when we went to his house, he gave me a dozen of them. Also, when Moe's opened near me a couple of years ago, my brother staked out overnight with some friends because the first 100 customers got a year's supply of burritos. They gave him a card that could be used for 1 free burrito a day for a year. I think he went every day for 3 weeks straight and has not gone back since. Laughing out loud. Story 62. My wife did not win, but she received free standard oil changes for the life of one of our cars at a popular chain. A few years ago, she had an issue and the owner said that if they could not fix it, he would give free oil changes for the life of the car. They could not fix it, so we received the free changes. It is a Honda, so the car should last a long time. The business has cycled through management several times and the offer is still honored. So we are lucky. Story 63. When I was in high school, my teacher won a lifetime supply of DNL. It was a 7-Up flavor back in the early 2000s. It amounted to about 10 cases of soda. Story 64. This isn't a contest, but my father-in-law used to do odd maintenance jobs for wealthy people. One job involved remodeling an office that had been abandoned for a few years. The new owner said he would discard everything and told my father-in-law he could take whatever would fit in his truck. He took computers, chairs, a desk, and a bunch of office supplies. He now has a lifetime supply of Post-it notes. Story 65. I was on a game show in 2003 and won a year's worth of Domino's pizza. It turned out to be $250 in vouchers. I was in college and my friends and I spent most of it on April 20th. Story 66. I bought a lifetime subscription to Rolling Stone magazine for my husband for $99. I think the fine print said up to 60 years. It has been 15 years, and we are still receiving the issues. Story 67. Rather the opposite. We won free movie tickets for a year that were apparently donated by a media company. Since all the tickets were for press preview screenings, we kept receiving them for more than a decade. It became clear that nobody remembered why we were on the list, but they knew we had to be on it because the tickets eventually shifted to films related to the industry one of us worked in. A production assistant must have looked us up online during a paperwork shuffle and assumed we were important. Story 68. My mom and dad won a lifetime supply of Cool Whip in 1968 on Let Us Make a Deal. I was only 4 at the time, so I somehow thought Cool Whip and Tootsie Rolls were free and plentiful. I do not remember how long it actually lasted. I think we just got tired of it. Around the same time, when my parents also won a car on Let Us Make a Deal, my dad noticed smoke coming from the back of a truck he was following. He stopped the driver and helped put out a small fire smoldering in the cargo, which turned out to be a truckload of Tootsie Rolls. The driver gave my dad the cases damaged by fire, and we ended up with an almost endless supply. That is why I thought both Tootsie Rolls and Cool Whip were like water when I was a kid. Story 69. I won a year's supply of Red Bull. They shipped about 200 cans at once. I hosted a party and we drank them that night. Story 70. I know it's not winning, but in the early 1980s my dad got a lifetime subscription to National Geographic that he still receives to this day. Story 71. At the Big 12 Championships in 2007, Chick-fil-A sponsored a giveaway of a lifetime supply of chicken sandwiches to people sitting in 12 seats in the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. I was lucky enough to sit in one of those seats. The prize included a folder with 52 coupons for a free chicken sandwich meal. It was less a lifetime supply and more once a week for a year, but I was not about to complain about the technicality. 52 free sandwich combos were worth about $400 at the time. I still consider it one of my luckiest moments. At age 14, it was pretty mind-blowing. Story 72. In high school, I won free wings for a year from Buffalo Wild Wings with a group of buddies. It turned out to be coupon books with 52 coupons, each valid for 1 week of the year, good for 6 wings each. Every week we would go get our 6 free wings and waters, tip the waitstaff, and then leave. Story 73. My lifetime gym membership ended after 2 years. I thought it meant my lifetime, not the gym's. Story 74. I clicked one of those advertisements on the early internet circa 2000 and filled out a survey during 6th grade computer class. Every month since then I have received 31 snack-sized Cheetos bags in a box from Frito-Lay. I received a 2-week suspension for clicking it. Worth it. Fuck authority. Story 75. My father played a game on teletext back in the day and won a lifetime supply of beer. However, they cheated him and only sent him a party keg. My father was a programmer, so he wrote a program that played the teletext card game for him. If the program was about to lose because of bad cards, it quit the channel and logged in automatically for the next run. The program played day and night, and after a few weeks he had won several television sets, video cameras, cruises, and more. Eventually, the organizer of the game locked my father out, which was illegal. He sued the company that organized the game and reached an agreement. They paid him about $10,000 and he never played again. So instead of a lifetime supply of beer, he received many prizes, and as a teenager I had my own video camera, which at the time was so expensive that people had to lease them. Story 76. Not a lifetime supply, but I won a year's supply of sausage rolls, one a day, from a local bakery in a charity raffle. I had to collect 7 at once each week on a day of my choice. After about a month, I was so tired of them that I started giving them to the neighbors and only collected a few more times. To this day, a sausage roll is never my item of choice in a bakery. Story 77. Down on the eastern shore of Maryland, there was a legendary food place called Tubby's. It was a stoner's paradise, the kind of place that gave away free cheese curls at 4:20. An old hippie in line behind me asked if I knew what band was playing on the speakers. I said, "Grateful Dead, my guy." So he took me over to the counter, got a piece of paper, and wrote "Free food for Dingo Denamibo and the gang," and signed it. Turned out he was the owner. Those were the best 2 years until they closed. Story 78. 10 years ago, I stayed up late with a group of friends taking lysergic acid diethylamide. At 5 a.m., we realized we were hungover and hungry, so we drove to the nearest gas station for snacks. When I pulled in, I saw the McDonald's inside the gas station was open. When we went to order, the cashier said, "This is our first day open, and we are giving out free Big Macs for a year to the first 10 customers." It was confusing at first, but we managed to be among the first customers. I received a small punch card for Big Macs and ended up using it every day for a couple of months until I was sick of McDonald's. Thank you, McDonald's, for the hangover food. Story 79. At age 14, I won a lifetime subscription to Rolling Stone in a radio contest. That was 1993. The latest issue arrived just last week. The magazine has followed me through high school, college, marriage, divorce, the birth of my child, and into the present day from Britney to Cardi B. I sometimes wonder which will last longer, me or Rolling Stone. Story 80. I was given a lifetime premier membership to Bally's fitness clubs around 1993. My boss purchased it in the 1980s for several $1,000s and transferred it to me as a bonus, so it was not technically a prize. They honored the membership until roughly 2001. After that, they started charging annual dues again. Story 81. I did not actually win, but received 1,500 lighters from a family friend because I am the only smoker in the family. If you assume a lighter lasts 2 months, they would have lasted indefinitely. The lighters were very good, and I gave them away to everyone. 1.5 years later, I was out of lighters and had to buy one at a gas station. For a while, Everyone in my area had the same lighter, like a plague. The funniest thing happened when I asked a random man 600 kilometers from home for a lighter, and he had one of mine. It turned out a man from my city had given it to him a week earlier. Story 82. Before I was born, my father won a lifetime supply of chic disposable razors. Growing up, I saw them everywhere, and even now, more than 30 years later, he still has a full box of them in the garage. Unfortunately, the razors are low quality, and my father has always had trouble with nicks and cuts. I have tried to introduce him to better razors with improved cartridges, but he is too stubborn to make the switch. Story 83. I won a year's worth of chicken from a Lebanese chicken shop. I licked my lips at the thought of free chicken, especially drenched in enough garlic dip to ward off Dracula. Reading the fine print, though, it was only $20 a week for 52 weeks. You could spend $30 to $40 on one person easily in a single sitting. Story 84. In high school, I called into a radio contest and was maybe the 105th caller to answer a trivia question. I answered correctly and won a lifetime supply of ice cream, which turned out to be a monthly coupon for a gallon. It continued throughout high school, but when I went away to college, my parents did not keep up with it. That was so long ago. I am 50 now. It was really fun and exciting at the time. I almost wrote my college application essay about it, but my school counselor guided me in a better direction. Story 85. I did not win them. I got them for free when a company near me went bankrupt. Each box contains 5,000 staples, and I have more than 10 boxes, so I have about 50,000 staples. Story 86. I was moving into a new apartment when the power shut off. I called the power company and explained that I was just moving in, and they turned the power back on with the understanding that I would come in to set up my new account as soon as possible. Of course, life got busy and I forgot. 3 years later, my power was shut off. I did not exactly win, and my prize did not last a lifetime, but I certainly got away with years of free electricity. I had to make some back payments to get the power back on, but it was pennies compared with what I would have actually owed. While the power was off the second time, I noticed a nightlight was still working in one particular outlet. From then on, we had a window air conditioning unit plugged into that outlet. The joys of free electricity never stopped. Story 87. It seems like the trend here is that most companies do not believe you will live very long. Story 88. I won a lifetime supply of Monster energy drinks. After months of being told they would be shipped soon, the company stopped answering my calls and blocked me. I never received a single drink. Story 89. I did not really win a lifetime supply, but a drug dealer in my area was short on cash and needed to get his home-growing operation off the ground quickly. He offered me 1/8 ounce of marijuana a week for life in exchange for $2,000 so he could buy the lights. Seemed risky, but I went for it. Every Monday, I picked up books from the book drop for the local library, stopped by his place, stashed the marijuana beneath the books, and then delivered the books to the library. After 5 years, I realized I had received over 2 pounds of very high-quality marijuana from him. My state was on the verge of legalizing marijuana, so I let him know I felt he had made good on my investment. He was willing to continue the deal, but I refused because I felt guilty. 5 years later, 9 times out of 10, if I see his farm's label at a dispensary, I buy his marijuana. It feels good knowing he has a thriving agricultural business that grew out of that desperate illegal home grow after his supplier was arrested. Last I heard, he is expanding out of state, considering opening farms in Canada, working on a cannabidiol energy drink for sale in grocery stores, and seriously considering an initial public offering if possible. If he does that, I will buy $2,000 in shares. It worked once. Story 90. It was not really a lifetime supply, but I called a radio station once and won that years now. That's what I call music collection, and it included the full albums each song was taken from. For instance, Blink-182's What's My Age Again was on the Now That's What I Call Music album, so I also received the full Enema of the State album. Walking out of their studios with a big box of compact discs felt like receiving a lifetime supply of music. Funny enough, my musical taste has not really progressed much beyond the 1990s, so it kind of works. Story 91. I won a year of free movies at the local movie theater, 1 per day. The contest was a Nintendo 64 Star Wars pod racing tournament, And I also defeated the tournament director in GoldenEye. He also gave me free tickets to the Electronic Entertainment Expo in Los Angeles. Story 92. Edit. The car in question, laughing out loud. I won a brand new car with a free lottery ticket. It was only for 10,000 kilometers or 1 year. I had to drive with a large advertisement on the car, a diamond pattern pink and purple design. Gas was free though. I gave it to my now wife because it was way out of my comfort zone. The car was a 2020 Citroen C3 Cactus Edition. Story 93. In 1995, I won a year's worth of tacos from Taco Bell by winning a bar game. They sent me a check for $200. I calculated it once and it came out to 1 taco a day for a year. Story 94. Not a lifetime supply but a 1-year supply. My best friend won a 1-year supply of free Arby's for shooting a puck through a puck-sized hole in a net from center ice at a junior hockey game. He received a certificate to take to the store, and a manager gave him 52 dated vouchers for a free meal. He could go in once a week and exchange 1 voucher for a meal from the menu, which is pretty solid considering he did not like Arby's much. The vouchers did not carry over. He used about 40 of the 52 and gave some away. Only 4 or 5 went unused. He tried everything on the menu. Story 95. My brother has a lifetime Spotify subscription. It is £99 per month here, so I am jealous. Story 96. I once won a 1-year supply of Wingstop. They gave me 2 $325 gift cards. It was awkward after the first couple of times when they read me my balance back and wondered what was going on, who I was, and why this was happening. Story 97. I won a lifetime supply of Fruit Roll UPS when I was a kid. It was one of those chance-to-win promotions printed on the inside of the box. The supply was gone within a year, partly because my parents gave away about half. By the time I saw the delivery, it had been reduced to 6 large master cartons with multiple retail boxes inside. It was too long ago to remember the exact total. Story 98. I did some work for a toothpaste company and ended up with almost half of a storage unit filled with extra toothpaste they had given me. Whenever someone came over, I gave them a large box to take home because it was high-quality toothpaste. I also took every opportunity to give extra toothpaste to others. It was a great situation. Story 99. My brother won a lifetime supply of French fries from a local Burger King franchise in the late 1990s. He received a card with the rules: 2 free large fries per week for 25 years. Non-transferable. I am not sure how they tracked it, but he used it constantly, moved away for 10 years, and when he returned they still honored the card after a 10-minute discussion with the manager. It expires May 31st of this year. Story 100. I won a year of movies from Showcase Cinema in 1995. They sent us 104 Admit 1 coupons to any movie that expired in a year. In practice, it was 10 months once we received the tickets by mail. My mother used a paper cutter to trim the top of each ticket at the expiration date, and we went to free movies for years. It was awesome. There were no blackouts, no format issues, and no restrictions. Story 101. It wasn't exactly winning something for life, but when my friend was in college in the 1980s, he and his housemate loved a certain brand of fried pies. They were the kind in a paper wrapper that came in lemon, cherry, peach, or apple. They loved the cherry flavor, but they noticed there were fewer cherries in each pie and the filling tasted different. So my friend wrote the manufacturer asking what was going on. It turned out the company had changed the recipe, but they appreciated his attention to detail. The company gave him all the remaining old recipe cherry fried pies, which amounted to an entire pallet. He and his housemate had the pallet sitting in their living room for months. They gave many away but ate most of them, being poor college students. Decades later, he is still a fan of fried pies. Story 102. In college, I won a year's supply of Monster energy drinks. My dormitory was stacked with pallets of them for 3 to 4 months. They were basically a free-for-all for my hallmates and helped me make new friends. Story 103. My dad won a year of free pizza at a silent auction. He paid about $200 for it. We received 1 large pizza each week. Since we could not eat pizza every week, my dad had them partially baked and froze them to use as needed, occasionally getting them fresh. We probably ate pizza every week for about 6 months, but eventually we tired of the same pizza from the same place. The deal was use it or lose it, so it did not carry over. Frozen pizza was better than none, and with 3 kids it was perfect to have a supply for when friends came over. Free pizza is free pizza. Story 104. 32 pounds of Sour Patch candy and $400. I filled out and mailed a form on a book cover in elementary school. They asked for a headshot and were considering putting me in a commercial, but it did not happen. The candy lasted about a month. I filled a backpack and went to every house in my neighborhood giving it away. I made a do-it-yourself slingshot with some stretchy rope between a couple of trees and launched candy down the street to my friends. Most of the bags burst. The adults were upset and I spent a week picking them up. I ate so many that I'm still sick of them 20 years later. Story 105. I won a lifetime supply of car washes. A lifetime was defined as the average life of a car, calculated to be 10 years, with 1 car wash per month, for a total of 120 car washes. Story 106. I won a year's supply of Girl Scout cookies a couple of years ago. They sent me 52 boxes. I gave some to my adult children, neighbors, and friends, and put the rest in the freezer. Story 107. I remember a friend's girlfriend won a year's supply of Kraft Dinner mac and cheese. When it arrived, it contained only about 200 boxes. Even Kraft said you should not eat it every day. Story 108. I won a year's worth of Chipotle burritos, 52 coupons. I ate there weekly for 3 to 4 months before I got sick of burritos. After a couple of months away, I returned and spoke with the manager, who remembered me from my visits, and asked if we could work something out. We reached an agreement and she let me trade 30 coupons for a catered taco bar. I brought lunch for my coworkers one Friday and never had to go back to Chipotle. Story 109. I won a year's supply of free Chick-fil-A meals when they opened a store near my college. It was not truly unlimited but was a voucher for 1 meal per week. Story 110. I inherited my car from my father after he passed away. It is a 2005 Lincoln Town car. When he owned it, it had maintenance for life, covering oil changes, lubrication, inspections, and other services. The dealership allowed that benefit to transfer to me, which was very kind of them. It came in handy when I was 21 years old with no car and the vehicle was paid off. I am 31 now and I still have the car. It runs well, with only minor wear and tear, and I continue to receive the complimentary maintenance. Story 111. I won a year's worth of bagels from Panera Bread. I can pick up a 12-pack of bagels once a month for a year. Story 112. I won free sub sandwiches for a year from Quiznos by being one of the first 100 customers when a new Quiznos store opened in my hometown and buying 2 large sub sandwiches. The promotion was a sheet of coupons redeemable for 1 small sub sandwich a week for 52 weeks. If I missed a week, that week's coupon was void. I got dinner there every Friday night for about 8 months before I moved away and gave the remaining coupons to my brother. It was convenient because a friend had the same deal, and we would stop there on our way to play Dungeons & Dragons since it was on the route to the house where we played. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.